Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With an active monsoon season expected this year, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help, offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroofinggroup.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroofinggroup.com. This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Monday, the 28th of July. I'm Michael Groff. Dry conditions, temperatures above average again, but the weather pattern in a bit of a transition. Yes, we've been hot and dry for the last several days, but some monsoon moisture is going to begin to creep into the state tonight, tomorrow, and through the middle part of this week. Question is, will we see any shower and storm chances here in the lower desert? What about temperatures? We'll talk about all of it and everything else as we dive on in and discuss. First, the almanac from yesterday, 110 degrees the afternoon high, 82 is the morning low, 106 and 85 are the averages for this time of year. As we take a look outside right now, here at 11:55 a.m., sunny sky out there, 102 degrees at Sky Harbor. But again, it's still very dry given the time of year that it is. Dew point way down at 36, relative humidity 10%, wind light, barometer is steady. Satellite picture out here across the southwest, and it is a weather pattern in transition. For several days, we've had very deep layered southwesterly flow in place, what we've been calling the anti-monsoon pattern. But a ridge of high pressure over the southeast and central plain states is beginning to expand westward, and it's nudging that very persistent trough and upper low that's been sitting to the west of us a little further away, and that system's weakened a little bit. So the flow is gradually switching from deep southwesterly to more of a south-southwesterly flow today, and ultimately more out of the southeast by tomorrow and Wednesday. And so we will start to see that monsoon moisture on the increase. You can see on the satellite here, showers and storms over northwest Mexico. That monsoonal moisture is getting very, very gradually closer to us. And so we'll start to see some shower and storms over eastern Arizona today, slightly better chances tomorrow, Wednesday, and again, getting closer to the lower deserts with time. Here's the watch warning map, and under that big sprawling ridge over the eastern half of the country, look at all of those extreme heat warnings and heat advisories. They extend from Tampa, St. Petersburg, all the way up to Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, near Minneapolis, St. Paul, Des Moines, Omaha, just so many places under those heat advisories and extreme heat warnings. Heat indexes at least at 105 degrees, many spots over 110. Speaking of insane heat, a long-standing record, one of those interesting statistics in weather fell by the wayside yesterday. You know, in Tampa, Florida, they had never had a high temperature of 100 degrees. The all-time record high was 99, well, until yesterday. There it is, 100 degrees was the official high temperature at Tampa International Airport yesterday, and that is a new all-time record. Just kind of one of those interesting little stats that fell by the wayside, and that's just how hot that ridge is. And you might wonder, why is it that they've never hit 100 down there? And it's because the Gulf of Mexico really acts like sort of a thermostat, big thermostat, helping to keep the temperatures moderated a bit. Not to mention, you have those sea breezes, the chances of showers and thunderstorms each afternoon across the Florida Peninsula. And there's other places in Florida that have never hit 100 either. But boy, that ridge was so strong yesterday and continues to be. And so you never know, they might do it again today. Convective outlook, speaking of thunderstorms, we've got a level 4 out of 5. That's the moderate risk for severe storms around Aberdeen, South Dakota today. The broader severe weather risk over much of the northern plain states, really from Williston and Bismarck, North Dakota to Minneapolis, St. Paul, down toward Des Moines. Could be rocking and rolling. We saw some violent tornadoes yesterday, and we could see a couple more of those today, particularly in that enhanced and moderate risk. So keep that in mind. Now, In the southwest, the eastern and southeastern portions of the state in the green, thunderstorms are possible. We don't anticipate any organized severe weather, but some storms could put down some gusty winds, blowing dust, and deadly lightning, and of course, a little bit of rain, perhaps, but at least storm chances are slowly increasing. The tropics in the East Pacific. All right, let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas of interest here. We've got Hurricane Iona, we've got Tropical Depression 2C, and then we've got 3 tropical waves. Let's focus on Iona, okay? This is out here. This is going to stay south of the Hawaiian island chain. That's the good news, but it should maintain its hurricane strength for a while. Eventually, it's going to start to weaken as it goes further to the west toward the international date line. But that is interesting. 2C is down there, and again, that should stay south of the Hawaiian Islands. So luckily, Hawaii should stay clear of that activity. And as for us, well, we're not going to see any impacts from those tropical cyclones down there, those tropical waves, but very active in the East Pacific as it has been basically all season. Precipitation outlook valid through next Monday morning from the WPC. Rain amounts in Phoenix, yeah, we might see a few hundredths of an inch, maybe as much as a tenth of an inch in some spots. Heaviest amounts across the state, maybe around a half inch, but of course your amount will vary. Any thunderstorm can always produce more than what's shown here. This represents what you'll see on an average basis. So let's get into the details of this forecast right now. Let's try to pin it down a little bit more, and to do that, we'll explore the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go, the GFS. This is the 12Z run, and it's valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. We'll start out, as always, with the upper look at 500 millibars. This is about 18,000 feet up off the ground, and it's kind of the same story. We've got this big ridge over the east. We've got this persistent upper low over the northeast Pacific, and troughing along the west coast. But that troughing is beginning to weaken, and to our east, that ridge is nudging in. And so as a result, the flow aloft is gradually switching from the southwest to more of the south and ultimately the southeast. In addition to that, we've got a little inverted trough across northern Mexico that's making its way toward the southwestern United States. So what all of that means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today is sunny sky. High temperatures here in Phoenix should top out around 107 to 111 degrees, which is a little bit above seasonal averages, but not record-breaking by any means. Of course, we all know that the record high temperature for Phoenix today, well, at least if you lived here for it, you know, 121 degrees. It is the second hottest temperature ever recorded. And that was back in 1995, a day I'll never forget. Man, my buddy and I were walking to Target to pick up some Coca-Cola and get some snacks. And it wasn't even 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was 116 degrees. That was something. What a day. And then that was the night that we had a phenomenon known as a heat burst. A distant thunderstorm generated some winds that came down the mountains here east of Phoenix, creating sort of a compression effect. It's a heat burst, and it drove the temperature from 106 degrees at 10 p.m. to 114 at 11 p.m. Yeah, that's right. Temperature went up from 106 to 114 from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. that night. That was phenomenal. And had we not had a little bit of rain cool there that blew in later that night, we may not have ever dropped below 100. But we did the next morning. I believe it was 93 or 91. I'll have to go back and look. But it was kind of an interesting phenomenon. Anyway, so nothing like that today. No 121, but still highs around 110. And yes, there could be a few showers and storms over east, central, and southeast Arizona. For tonight, isolated showers and storms in the east, central, and southeastern portions of the state. We are mostly clear to partly cloudy. Overnight lows should generally be 70s for the cool spots, low to mid 80s in the urban core. How about tomorrow? And again, the pattern is changing a little bit. That ridge is getting a little closer to us. The flow aloft is more out of the south and southeast now, and we'll start to see some more monsoon moisture come in. So widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms over the eastern mountains and the southeast part of the state. I don't think those storms are going to get into the lower deserts, including Phoenix. At least the storms, the rain, But we could see some outflow boundaries, some gusty winds tomorrow evening, maybe at least in the East Valley. Areas of blowing dust and gusty winds possible. Wouldn't count on it, but there's certainly an outside chance. High temperatures tomorrow, again, pretty close to 110 degrees. Let's go to Wednesday. The monsoon moisture comes in a little bit more. We'll start to see that humidity coming up. Temperatures may back off a degree or two, but I'd still say we'll be pretty close to 110 here in Phoenix. And we'll call for a slight chance of late afternoon and evening showers and storms here over the lower deserts. Better chances, of course, will still remain over the higher terrain. All right, here we go to Thursday. And as it is right now, this is probably the best chance we have for storms. Our inverted trough that we've been talking about, that'll come in Wednesday and kind of wash out over the area on Thursday. But there should be sufficient moisture around and enough instability for scattered afternoon and evening storms over the higher terrain, widely scattered showers and storms here in the lower deserts. Again, particularly focused in the afternoon and evening hours. High temperatures might back off a few degrees with the higher humidity and more clouds expected. Partly sunny sky, high temperatures about 102 to 107. After that, unfortunately, the pattern again starts to transition. Now, for a while, we were looking at a very deep southwesterly flow developing again, or maybe more of a westerly component to the wind. And yes, that still looks like it may happen, but maybe not quite as substantial and not quite as pronounced. The only problem is our ridge that's been sitting to the east of us is going to get a little closer, going to take up shop here over southeast New Mexico, maybe West Texas. And so the flow does turn more southwesterly, and we will start to see some monsoon moisture getting eroded out of here, but still some widely scattered storms over the eastern mountains. I don't think we're going to see anything here in the lower deserts on Friday. I guess there could be an isolated storm, but not enough really to put it in the forecast, I don't think. High temperatures will still probably be pretty close to 110. I'd say 105 to 110, somewhere in there. As we keep it going into the weekend, it looks like we'll be mostly clear and hot Saturday and Sunday. And high temperatures each day, a couple of degrees either side of 110. Now, the ridge probably doesn't get suppressed as far to the south, at least as we initially thought. The last couple of runs of the GFS, particularly this one, show the ridge still taking a position somewhere over New Mexico or West Texas. And yeah, still kind of a southwesterly flow, but maybe not as much, not nearly as pronounced a westerly component to the wind, and the monsoon moisture doesn't get pushed as far away. We'll still see some showers and storms in northern Mexico and maybe a few storms in New Mexico and the eastern part of our state. I still kind of think we're going to stay dry, but the GFS wants to push in another inverted trough at some point. So we'll watch for that too. But maybe we could eke out a low-grade monsoon forecast. But for now, I'm going to keep the forecast dry here in Phoenix for this weekend. But we'll see how model trends go in the future. Either way, it's still going to be hot around here. Let's keep it going a week from today, Monday, the 4th of August. The ridge is sitting over New Mexico. It's a 594 ridge. That's not the greatest place for advecting monsoon moisture, but it's also not terrible. The flow aloft should be south-southeasterly, so at least some moisture is in here. And we'll have at least a low-grade monsoon, if this is correct. Widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms. Let's keep going. This is Tuesday the 5th. The ridge, it's a broad ridge over the southwestern U.S., centered somewhere over New Mexico or West Texas. But it's more of an elongated ridge, so the flow may actually turn out to be more southeasterly. So we'll still call for widely scattered afternoon and evening storms. It's a pretty intense ridge, so the mid-levels of the atmosphere may be not as unstable as we'd like. We may see somewhat shallower lapse rates in a setup like this, but we could at least still see a few storms, and that'd be okay. This is the end of the forecast period, Wednesday, the 6th of August. Okay, now we're getting the ridge in a better position over northern Arizona, southern Utah. The problem is it's a 600 decameter ridge. This is an intense ridge. I mean, if that's right, we are cooking around here. It is very hot. Temps would be around 115 degrees here in the lower deserts, maybe hotter. And yeah, the flow aloft might be more easterly, and we could certainly get any thunderstorms that develop over the higher terrain pushed into the lower deserts. But in such a setup, historically speaking, with a ridge like that sitting as close as it is and as intense as it is, yeah, the thermal profile doesn't favor storms surviving in the lower deserts. So it would be very, very hot. We'll just have to see how this plays out. The GFS is kind of wobbled on where exactly that intense ridge is. The last run was over Colorado and New Mexico, and now it's shifted it further to the west. So we'll see. All right, yeah, it figures we finally get the ridge in a halfway decent position, but it's way too intense. All right, well, somebody on the comments, a couple of people are like, we need this ridge to win out. Well, it's going to win out. The ridge is going to beat down that trough for sure, but too much so, maybe. All right. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix. This is coming off of the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 11th of August. And the ensemble mean, about a ½ inch. And again, a lot of the members are pointing toward later this week for at least a little bit of rain. European ensemble, the European AI ensemble, not looking so good. The control member is way up at 1 inch. That's good, but the ensemble mean is just under 0.2 of an inch. And many of the 51 members in this ensemble show nothing at all. So that is not encouraging. So really, we'd love to just see a good push of monsoon moisture. I just don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. Are we going to go the rest of the summer? I don't know about all that. I still remain marginally optimistic that things will change a bit as we go deeper into August, but that my confidence is not as high as it was a few weeks ago. All right, looking at temperatures off the national blend of models. Generally speaking, will be above average for the next 10 days or so, and that's kind of to be expected, especially if conditions do stay somewhat dry with only a low-grade monsoon. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you're really enjoying what we do here, click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. Make a monetary contribution to us, or even better than that, via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo is linked up down there as well. Show your support for the channel. Really helps us out. All right, the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of SweetChildAZ.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle, check her out, blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, probably Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description, so do give that a look and a listen. In addition to that, our streaming station available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music and have a lot of fun over there too, so also check that out. Please check out Dan and the Courtroom Files YouTube channel or courtroomfiles.com. And that's a lot of cool stuff that he does over there, and friend of the channel, friend of mine, friend of yours, friend of everybody, really, if you get to know the guy. Also, little self-serving, little plug for myself over here. Yes, I'll be appearing on Dan's channel tomorrow on the Courtroom Files. Tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Myself and a couple of other viewers and contributors to this channel, Bailey, Ashley, and of course, Dan himself will be on there doing a show called Sidebar, talking LawTube stuff, some very exciting stuff. And Dan's got tons of other big news on his channel. And of course, we want to congratulate him. His 100th live show tomorrow. So check that out, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern time. 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern for his live shows. And of course, you could be a channel member over there and all that stuff. So we want to help out those that help us. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. Please be safe. Yeah, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and you guys have yourselves a terrific rest of your Monday.